Grade 7 Module 5 Elementary, my dear Watson. Exercise 1. Read the following conversation. Why do you think Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are such famous characters? Sherlock Holmes sat at the breakfast table and gave me a walking stick. There was something written on it to Mr. James Mortimer from his friends, 1884. Well, Watson, what can you tell me about the owner of the stick? Asked Holmes. I think that Mr. Mortimer is an old country doctor. His patients like him, so they give him this walking stick. Good, said Holmes. Why do you think he's a country doctor? Because this stick is very scratched. A city doctor does not carry such an old stick. Holmes took the stick from my hands and looked at it. Interesting. I think the man is a country doctor, but he's not old. He's young, pleasant, and absent-minded doctor. How did you know that? Elementary, my dear Watson. Only pleasant people get presents, and only absent-minded men forget their sticks. Vocabularies المصطلحات. walking stick عصاية المشي اللي بنسميها العكازة. owner مالك. country doctor طبيب يعمل في الريف. scratched مخدوشة. pleasant حسن السيرة، ممتع، لطيف أو حسن المعشر. absent-minded تائه أو شريد الذهن. elementary بسيط أو سهل. 2. Go to the glossary pages in the activity book, pages 74 to 76, or use a classroom dictionary and look up the meaning of the words you don't know. Noun, someone who has something belonging to them. مالك. patient. Noun, someone receiving medical treatment from a doctor. مريض. conclusion. Noun, something you decide after considering all the information you have. خاتمة. method. Noun, a planned way of doing something, especially one that a lot of people know about. أسلوب أو طريقة. interested. Adjective, giving a lot of attention to something because you want to find out more about it or because you enjoy it. ممتع أو مسلي. elementary. Adjective, easy, not complicated, سهل أو بسيط. absent-minded. Adjective, likely to forget things, especially because you are thinking about something else. شريد الذهن. scratched. Adjective of markings, made on a hard surface with a sharp object. خدش. intelligent. Adjective, clever, ذكي أو عبقري. famous. Adjective, known about by many people in many places. مشهور. wise. Adjective, describing someone who makes good decisions, gives good advice, etc. حكيم. logical. Adjective, seeming reasonable and sensible. منطقي. pleasant. Adjective, friendly, polite and easily loved. شخص لطيف أو المؤدب. kind. Adjective, saying or doing things that show that you care about other people. لطيف. Professional adjective related to a job that needs special education and training. مهني أو محترف. 3. How did Sherlock Holmes find out who the owner of the stick was? In a group, use the same method to identify the owner of an object. سأعطيكم بعض الوقت ثم سأجب عن السؤال. Sherlock Holmes observed the details, the scratches on the stick, the writing on it, the fact that it was lost. Then he explained the details. The owner must live in the countryside because the stick is very scratched. He must be friendly for people to offer him presents. And he must be absent-minded because he forgot his walking stick. Then he reached a conclusion that the owner is a young, pleasant, and absent-minded country doctor. Do you want to be a detective? What makes a good detective? In a group, make a list of the characteristics of a good detective. Use the words from exercise 2 to guide you. طبعا ممكن نحكي عن الديتكتيف. His patience, his intelligence, logical mind. He has a good sense of observation. Grade 7, Module 5, page 56. The best detective of all time. Before you start, look at the 3 outlines. Who are they? Which of the keywords help you recognize them? إذن عنا هنا الأوتلاين. الصورة الأولى 1 2 3 outlines. بدنا من خلال الكلمات الموجودة في الصندوق الأورنج البرتقالي نحكي شو هي الصفات الموجودة اللي بتنطبق على هاي الثلاث شخصيات ومن هم. فممكن نحكي الأوتلاين نمبر 1 magnifying glass اللي هو الشخصية الأولى. الأوتلاين الأول حامل عدسة مكبرة. The outline number 2 glasses and knitting needles. The outline number 3 walking stick, bow tie, mustache. 1. Read and answer. Do you know these characters? They are famous professional detectives Sherlock Holmes, Miss Jane Marple, and Hercule Poirot. People all over the world read stories of their adventures or watch them on DVDs. These 3 detectives were very different. Okay, we will start with Sherlock Holmes, the outline number 1. Sherlock Holmes is more famous than Poirot and Miss Marple. In fact, he's the most famous detective of all time. The basis of his method was observation, observation, and observation. After observing an object, he made logical conclusions. Miss Jane Marple is less famous than Holmes or Poirot, but more pleasant than them. She didn't look like a detective at all. She lived in a small village in the country, and she used her experience of life in her village to solve crimes. She was wiser than Holmes because she was older than him. In fact, she was the oldest of the 3. Hercule Poirot was less interested in details than Sherlock Holmes. He was more interested in studying the mind of the suspects. He thought that the best tools to solve the crime were the little gray cells in the brain. So He sat quietly and thought. Vocabularies: suspect, noun, someone who is thought to be guilty of a crime. مشتبه به. solve يحل. crime جريمة. crime noun. illegal activities in general. Do not say, make or do a crime. use commit. جريمة هي أعمال غير مشروعة. quietly هدوء. method أسلوب. observation مراقبة. logical conclusions نهايات منطقية. wiser أكثر حكمة. طبعا نيجي على الكلمات الموجودة في البرتقالي، في الصندوق البرتقالي in orange box. walking stick عصاية المشي أو العكازة. feather ريشة. knitting needles حياكة الصوف باستخدام الأسياخ أو أسياخ الحياكي يعني. magnifying glass عدسة مكبرة. mustache شارب. glasses نظارات. bow tie ربطة العنق الموجودة على شكل اللي بتكون موجودة على شكل فيونكة. فإذا how did Sherlock Holmes solve crimes? He used observation and logical thought to solve crimes. السؤال الثاني according to Poirot, what are the best tools to solve a crime? Poirot thought the best tool to solve a crime were the little grey cells اللي هو the brain. 3. Why was Miss Marple unusual? Miss Marple was unusual because she didn't look like a detective. D. Which of the qualities listed in exercise 1 on page 55 describes the three detectives the best? Holmes, famous and logical. Poirot, intelligent. Miss Marple, wise and pleasant.